Hello gamers, and welcome to lots of preview content for Steel Division 2 for the new Blood, Feud and Transylvania DLC that will be released on 19th of January, so in a couple of days. It brings, so this is all preview content, it's a preview build, so subject to change, hence I put a notification in the video as well. And yes, the game brings you 6 new divisions, 3 Romanian divisions for the Allies, 2 Hungarian divisions for the Axis, and 1 German division for the Axis side. You get new units, and obviously new divisions are always interesting already because you know how are they composed, what are the activation slots. And then there's also a new Army General campaign. The whole DLC is basically based on the Romanians swapping sides after the invasion of Romania by the Soviet forces, and so former allies fight against each other. And this is also the theme of the new Army General campaign, the Battle of Turda, and then also the first days of the fight in Siebenbürgen. So there's also a new map, but the new map will be free for everyone. It's a 2v2 map, and we will look at that as well. In this preview series, I will create 3 videos for every division, or for each division. One where I show you the division, the second where I show you my deck, and the third where I use the deck against the AI. And yeah, so let's dive right in and begin with the Divisione 8 Cavalerie Motorizzata, and that was originally a cavalry formation, and it was partially converted to an armored division by 1944. It's kind of set in September 1944. Surviving the Soviet invasion but denuded of its tanks, it was nonetheless rushed to Transylvania to resist the invading Hungarians. With a well-rounded mix of soldiers, part of the battle group includes former elite bodyguards of the deposed ex-Romanian dictator Antonescu. Ironically, what this formation lacks most are tanks. Some important units offset this, including the Romanian CAM R2 and Hetzer tank destroyer, as well as Resita anti-tank guns and a few captured Turan 2 and Srini 2 armor. Artillery, anti-air and support units are plentiful, such as British Vickers, 75mm AA guns, mortars, 75mm and 100mm howitzers. The Divizia 8 Cavalerie Motorizzata might lack heavy armor but can still hold its own thanks to its well-balanced composition of units. So when we take a look at it, you can see you get a ton of recon slots, you get decent amounts of cheap infantry slots, hardly any but cheap tank slots, very decent support slots, fantastic anti-tank slots, good anti-air slots with regards to cost and availability, good artillery slots, and quite a few air slots as well. So it's the question is, what can we find, in the different tabs? In the Recon tab, there's no new unit. You get the Motomitariglia, like your bike Recon with radio. You get the R1. You get the Cercetasi. You get the Lunatist Sniper. Already putting it in. You get 2 cards of Cercetasi Moto. And that's a cool card because they've got AT. And it's 5 dudes, not too bad. So it's kind of like an AT team with fighting capabilities. You get a Horch, and you get 4 cards of the Kalarashi, and that's a very, very beefy sniper unit. So basically, you don't get like a full amount of infantry slots here, but then you get Kalarashi here, and they are fantastic. In the infantry tab, you get the Rossiori, you get the new unit here in the LT Kalarashi Moto leader, and he's interesting. He's got 2 MP44s, no radio, 3 availability in A phase, single vetted, and you get your smoke. I think it's always good to have smoke on the leader. You get the Rossiori leader, and then you get another new leader. And before it was, the text mentions the disgraced guard, and there we go. The Vanatori, the Garda leader, and they have the Bergman. So they can put up a proper fight in CQC at 100-meter range. They can defend themselves, and they've got smoke and radio. They have to come double vetted in A. But they come, 3 of them come, and for example with the Calarashi you only get 2. With the Rossiori you only get 2. So this is actually pretty cool. You get the Pionieri Calari. You get the Rossiori, and the already known Vanatori the Garda with the fanatical trait and 2 automatic rifles. And then you get another new unit, the Calarashi Moto, and they look like basically like a P-Grand division. 10 dudes, 1 submachine gun that actually looks decent, 7 rifles and 2 light machine guns and AT grenades for 30 points, but you can't bring them in an SDKFZ. But this is your line infantry option. I think in comparison to the Rossiori. Obviously the Rossiori are cheaper. You also get 5 cards, but you know, at range the MG42 is better than the ZB30. Yeah, so this is also, the Calarashi Moto is one of the 4 new units here. Then you get the Rossiori Assault, Molotovs, 12 dudes, 4 Berettas and rifles, and you get the Pionieri Calari leader with a Panzerschreck, but no radio. Okay. Also A phase locked. In the tank tab you get the Turan 2. It's optically a variant of the Turan 2 that you might know from Lovash. Pretty cool tank. It's now it's a light tank, but it's got 10 health. It's been increased from 8 to 10. So it can't be one-shotted by other light tanks like this one. Yeah. And then you get a new unit here in the Srigni 2. It looks a bit like those Italian or for Fallschirmjäger Stuks, but it's actually not the same. I've checked it. Different gun. And you get a 2K range HE option with 4.1 suppression damage. It's not a griller, but still really good. And 2K range. It's phase locked to A, as is the Turan. You get also heat shells. 22 with 100mm penetration you can, and heat, they don't lose penetration at with the distance. So this is actually I think this is quite a good tank. In the support tab, for this division there are no new units. You get the Gendarmi to motivate disheartened troops, but you actually don't have disheartened troops that you could use them for. You get Schwarzlose, you get ZB53 machine gun, you get the 4 cards of them, you get the Breda 1 card, which is a fantastic early game option. Supply trucks, you get a Hotchkiss, you get the Tatra leader, you get the commandant leader, and you get the SPW leader. In the anti-tank tab you get the Panzerschreck, you get the Vanatori de Ciare, which is pretty cool because you can send them through forest and they can win out because of their submachine guns and the geballte Ladung, and then they can still kill tanks at 250 meter range with their bazooka. You get 4 M42 guns, even with APCR. I think the German captured M32 guns don't have APCR. You get the Schneider, yet another AT option for short range. Very high rate of fire, which also means accuracy goes up with every shot. You get PAK 38 with APCR. And then this is also a new unit, the Takam R2, which is basically a mobile ZIS 3 gun. I don't know on what it's built. And I just noticed that the machine gun is here, but it's not represented in this tank destroyer. So that's 1.5 kilometer range, 105 millimeter penetration, not too shabby, okay-ish speed. And then you get two cards of Reshitas. They have been nerfed recently. The price went up to 80 points. And you get a card of Hetzers. So you get a really, really good tank here, but it's face locked to A as well. And the Takam is not face locked, so you could bring 12 in C phase. Yeah, and you obviously have the Reshita that you can bring in every phase. In the anti-air department, there's no new unit for this division. They're all just adjusted for this deck, for this division. Even though there's no emblem, it says Ford here, quite nice. So you get a Ford Hotchkiss. You get the Gustloff 20mm, it's a Flak 38. You get the Hotchkiss. They're actually quite nice, I think, for the price. They are face locked though. You get a card of Bofors and 2 cards of Vickers. So I think this sorts you out. In the artillery tab, you get an artillery observer, you get an artillery commander, you get 60mm mortars, 3 cards of them, which is quite nice because they've got 1.8k range, only cost 40 points, and even bring or give you more HE shells than the normal mortar, 80mm mortar. You get the OBE 75mm howitzer. You get a 100mm howitzer, a Skoda model from 1934. Rate of fire on this one is quite nice actually. You can use it as an anti-tank gun as well. You get a 120mm mortar. Some players use them quite efficiently, even though they're currently not that much in the meta. At least not from the usage. And you get a new unit here, an SPW with a 105mm off-map leichte Feldhaubitze. As the emblem of the division. So you can really fill that up, I think, which is really cool. In the air tab, you get a Recon plane, which I think is very good. I love Recon planes. This one can defend itself a little bit. You get the Junkers with 1 bomb, but you also get the 87D5 for only 5 points more. And I think this is a pretty cool one because, well, you could fly close air support missions, but you've got 2 really nice bombs here and you can micro them off and then just drop one of them and then make another run. And then your enemy is forced to bring in AA or fighter, and then you have maybe destroyed 2 valuable ground units. There's another recon option that can be used for close air support as well with the 20mm guns. It's not very fast, but still may handle. Then you get the essential bomber, and this one is actually a variant with regards to the bomb loadout. Only 6 bombs. There's a Romanian bomber already with a different bomb loadout, or other bombers with stronger bombs. So this one is not that good, but then again it's cheap. Might be worth trying out. BF109 G2. Super fast, but not with much killing power. You get another option to kill tanks with the Junkers cluster bomber. Also nice here with all the logos everywhere. You get the BF109 G4R6, and this is a pretty cool one because this variant you can, with 3 20mm guns, you can use for ground attack quite nicely. I think that's also in Kropatanek. You get some heavier bombers in the Junkers A4 variants, ones with a 250 kilogram bomb loadout, and then there's another one with a mixed bomb loadout. And here you could also micro off the bombs and then drop the 250 kilogram bombs on one target and the 50 kilogram bombs on another target. So if you can do the micro, I think this is a good one. Yeah, this is the division. Now let me name my favorite unit. I will nominate the Srinyi 2 as my maybe favorite unit of the division, only taking into account the new units, because I love the 2K range. I love the heat shells. You get 22. Accuracy is okay, so I think you would possibly want to at least single vet it, and maybe even double vet it. And also you get 105mm frontal armor, so this is fantastic against allied tanks with like Shermans, that, or also against Stuks that don't have enough. But the Stuks have more range, but so depends. It will do very well against some certain T-34s and also Shermans, I would think. Yeah, so this is my favorite unit. From the looks of it, let me know what you think in the comments. And stay tuned for more content. The next one will be my first attempt to build a division. Thanks a lot. Until then, bye for now.